cans of energy drink. Wonder if that'd be better.
Not so much collecting as consuming to stay awake 18 hours.
I can see Steven likes it.
Hey, Jigsaw.
Hey.
Finally.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, everyone. I can't believe we have a Flash Boy on record.
It is pretty crazy.
Wolf is literally, or at least a Flash Wolf.
I'm literally going green and back to normal every now and again. It's something wrong with my camera, but I'll try and sort it while we go.
Hey, it makes it a party.
That's true. And Matt, thanks for the email. Really appreciate reaching out and really give me some support, whether today or throughout.
No worries, man. It's all part of the larger ecosystem, part of the community and the team.
Really appreciate it. And I finally met Jigsaw because we finally scheduled at 10 a.m., but his clock is showing 4:01, so I don't know. Okay. It's almost time, so I'm very glad to be here today. There may be more people coming, but anyway you guys want to start it, anyway you guys want to hang out, all I needed is just a cup of coffee. I'll be here as long as you guys need me. Yeah. It seems Wolf or Matt have a few questions already, but I don't know how usually, because you guys have been doing it every week, how you guys want to wait a few minutes or anything. Hey, Max. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, here you go.
Wow.
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Max used to be my friend. We hang out so much more. Now that he joined Harmony, I barely got time to even check with him. It looks like you were having a good cup of espresso.
Yeah, just made it. We just had dinner, so here we go.
Nice. Not in Florida anymore? Germany?
No. I've been in Germany now for like since June, really, since mid-June. Yeah.
I must say I like your old office better. Your painting, I still remember.
I know. This is basically just our, summer place here in Germany. It's a bit more basic, but still nice.
It cannot be that bad. Yeah,
I'm not gonna complain.
You have a good cup. It's maybe helpful to get away from US for a few months before things get better here.
Exactly. We'll be back.
I still think that Singapore is a great choice. I don't know whether you mind talking about how you think about Asia these days, but I was actually hoping to visit China again. Even though it's crazy, and just because things are more remote with the team, it's quite possible to see China. And I was just checking how the situation is, both the COVID, but also the economics as well as development. As you guys probably heard from the news, many things are going on, both technology, but also many of the changes in society. I mean, don't take me wrong, all the bad things are still just as bad. Right, I am the first one to criticize it, but then the whole public health, as well as some of the technology innovation, definitely blockchain is quite ahead. But I think I'm digressing. I still have a few people that I just know by Telegram, but haven't really say hi before. Hey, C7.
Hello, Steven. Hello, everyone.
Yeah,
Buonasera.
Again, I do know you. We only briefly got to say hi in one of the all hands, but love to really know how the things are. It is not even summer anymore. There's no more invincible summer, and fall is officially almost over, but getting into winter time.
I have so many things to ask and to say that I think I will accompany this Zoom call.
Sure, I really appreciate you guys not just coming today, but having waited so long. I had 12 hours talking sessions with the team yesterday, nonstop.
Wow.
I am a man of losing his voice the last 2 years. You guys can imagine why. But so I've been avoiding meetings in general, but talking in particular. In hindsight, trying to scheme like the sync up time, or even having some regular sessions, whether with the team or the community, obviously, has been painful. But yesterday, I did the opposite extreme. It's just because. So we all went for the COVID test, and I finally brought at least the Bay Area team on site. What happened is we were become so efficient on the Zoom, Discord, even all hands meeting, that bam, 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 break out, writing writing sessions, send a blog post on roadmap, on newsletter, because we've been doing almost for sure 2 years, but many of the team ups that we feel so comfortable because we were a quite together a team for so long that we got so much done even after the COVID. What didn't happen is there's no more understanding of like how the team feel, or like in this case how the community feels, because we just used to be like sending out tweets and having POW, having newsletter to update everyone. With our team, we have many meetings, but none of them about like how are you doing, how are things now that you are at home literally 7 days a week. One of the engineers literally said, I have not seen anyone but you guys. The last human contact that he had was just going to the COVID test. That we started the day with a long sessions of me going through the roadmap, but also some of the engineer went very deep about why we have any chances to be any different in the cross-chain story, like clients, trustless bridge, and all the architecture about gas efficiency. I can open up a little bit more here too. But what was different compared to having a Zoom and a Q&A session earlier before was, wow, finally, everyone just open up, ask questions, really see the confidence in the engineers, really doesn't mind asking me questions, because over all hands on Zoom, everyone a little bit not afraid. It's just that everyone only get 5 minutes. We try so many different formats, writing in the Google Docs at the same time, like all like 15, 20 people writing at the same time. Google Docs is fun. We try breakout session on Zoom because it's helped to rotate different crowd. Nothing really works as well as still on site. So even though we didn't plan it, we do the whole speed dating thing again, which is what our community barbecue and TGI was famous for. We actually rotate even the team to a one-on-one session. It feels very weird that really as a host and coming just to see a few people that you know for so long that you kind of like forced sitting down, even though you kind of know each other, but you just have a longer chat. And that's what I hope to do here today. I have a long chat even just with my executive co-founder, RJ and Leo, 3 hours after the rest of the team gone until 9:30. So pardon me if my voice sounds a bit coarse today, but I'll be here as long as you guys felt we are still having a great discussion. So, I just want to say hi to whoever that I can recognize before we started. At the end of the day, I know you guys have been waiting for this and getting into something meaty and concrete. But if I don't get to know you, I would not know how the angle or the context I can say hi. So I just want to say thank you, Manny. I know it has been a crazy time, but I'm feeling you with the Wolf. The Wolf and you has been amazing with the community. I just want to say thank you. And for sure, Shiva, now that we really got you onto Twitter, I still enjoy like many of you just like engaging in different ways. Let me know. I saw some of the name like C and Josipa, but like just say hi and even tell me like how I should address you, whether John or Eco, instead of like just you asking a question and having a quick answer. Anyone just want to say hi? Let me know.
So I think we could listen to you talk all day, Stephen. Your vision
Sure.
is wonderful. I just wanted to start by saying thank you, and to all the team members present for providing this platform for us, for doing what you guys do, because without what you do, none of us would even be here. I love your vision for the future. I saw you on the LA Blockchain Summit yesterday. I caught the tail end and then had to go back and watch the video. My apologies, I wasn't able to be there live the whole time. And saw the awesome video that you and Robin put out this morning, kind of explaining your vision and creating a great lead up for what this was. Very on point, and I love it.
Thank you, Matt. Well, you know the community more than me, actually, for so long. It is crazy how we still manage to have this Thursday, if not some of the grantees that you were able to join, that in some way, it's very easy to speculate like when some of the deliverables and some of the like short-term changes in our community, if not the team. But then it's impossible to know someone, if not a year in, what we can do together. Max, which is my friend here for 10 years, and we actually don't know each other that well, but just a very chance encounter in San Francisco that basically he invited me to a really nice sushi dinner that, wow, I can trust this guy who treat me well no matter what, right? Because he barely got to know me and he already giving me his best. That if it's not Harmony, I actually wouldn't have a chance to work with Max as closely together. So, and now that I finally got him not just into Bitcoin, but like really understanding DeFi innovation. And that's what I want to say. Hopefully this community is more than just like figuring out what is coming out from Harmony next, but like what we can do together because we get to know each other.
And I love that aspect of it. I mean, it kind of, that right there, that story about how someone who was unknown to you, but had a way to assist you, saw the potential in you, and decided that they wanted to invest in you as a human being, whether that means their time, money, support online, whatever that support is. And that, in my mind, is what epitomizes Harmony. The tech is wonderful. The tech is awesome. And I want to talk about that in just a second.
Absolutely.
For an example, with the Angels, that's what we're doing there. We're investing in the community, people that have the same skills that we could go out and pay tons of money for some professional to do the same work and maybe even a little bit better. I'd much rather invest in our community that has those basic skills and help them become that professional.
Thank you.
As a part of Harmony. And I think that's super important, investing in our community that way. And yeah, you're a CEO, you're busy running the company. You can't always be around and know the community. Social media takes a lot of time, as those of you who have seen me in chats know.
You mean Telegram, right?
We know.
Telegram people just really open up and talk really long. And I think that's part of the community too. You guys really need checking in, but also knowing the people out there. Most of all, I think, Matt, you said it right. And we don't need to just go on the soft part, right? Because you are very technical. You know both like where you want to take Angels to. We can talk about problem challenges too. But Matt, what Matt says, right? We may got it wrong about our process. We may got it wrong about even the market or even problem execution, but we don't got it wrong while we are here.
Yep.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. As I said, I have a couple.
Sure, please go ahead. I'll take one at one person. I know you have some prepared. I just want to see whether everyone can get involved here as well. Matt, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was actually going to pass it off to the community because I do have.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Either way, I'll be here longer
than
usual today. Yeah.
With bridging, but I know C7. You definitely said you got a question. Jigsaw, I'm sure you got some questions.
Please do. Jigsaw is also late in the hours. Is it really 4 a.m. for you, Jigsaw? I know you're in Europe.
Yes, it's 8 p.m. here, so it's not too late for me. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's start. I am around Harmony for more than a year. I kept seeing your vision, Stephen, and the roadmaps shared always. The problem is we keep delaying and pushing these roadmaps to the next quarter always. This started from last year when the swap and the staking was delayed from August and October till this year Q1, I think, and Q2.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem is we are trying to solve some problems for the real world and for the end users.
Yeah.
And until now, we didn't solve anything, and the chain is a ghost. I know you are working hard there, but we are keep moving from a thing to another thing. A few months ago, I remember Sahil said you are talking about remittance with service providers. This was 3-4 months ago. Now I see we are focusing on cross-chain and exchanges. And still we don't have nothing on chain. Now, I know we have grants. Nobody says the grants are not good for decentralization, etc. But if we keep spending money, there are not a lot of money. 25K for a grant is not a lot of money. But at least we can raise our criteria for these grants. I mean, I'm looking now at the JellySwap. JellySwap provides a swap for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Okay.
For sure.
I can do this on every exchange much cheaper.
For sure.
And this grant, for example, didn't bring not a single plus for our chain. I want to see things which these grants providing some usage for the chain. I mean, nobody says, look, this is a startup. It's okay to invest in this startup, but we need also some big players which can bring more users with I don't have my proper
If I
words.
could
Sorry,
jump in.
guys.
Utility users.
Say it in Romanian.
Someone can translate.
P7. I think I hear what you're saying, and the confusion is part of, I think, what Stephen wanted to address today. And I want to frame it this way. Yes, the company has kind of jumped around a little bit. Its direction seems to have flowed with the water to a degree instead of being hard and fast and in stone. And my question to you is this. In an ever-changing crypto landscape, is that necessarily a bad thing? In my mind, that is the power of having a smaller, newer, centralized company like Harmony that still isn't totally decentralized, right? They're here to hear the community, to listen to us, and let that guide them. Let that help flow the waters and show them where to go next. And one of the big things that has been prominently coming to the forefront lately is the fact that the landscape is very much going to change in the next year. Right? We see it with the bridge between XDAI and Ethereum. Once we build a two-directional or a bi-directional bridge to Ethereum, are we competing, or are we just another sister chain that has certain value and certain benefits that maybe our chain does better than any other chain? That is a way to bring people from Ethereum over to Harmony very quickly and easily, because they're not.
I would just like to jump.
We're acknowledging the fact that in the next year or two, we're going to see the entire landscape flatten out. Everyone is going to be bridged to everyone. And then your layer one, you're going to have to stand out some way. But first, you have to connect, right? Right now, it's like everybody is in their homes. You can play on your computer. You can play on your phone. You can watch TV, play video games, whatever you want. But there's no streets. There's no way to get from your home to your neighbor's home. No way to get from your home to the grocery store to get some food. You're stuck inside your room. That's kind of the status of blockchain right now. And by building bridges, we're doing exactly that. We're bridging those homes together. Your home to the grocery store, your home to your neighbor's home, your home to everywhere, so that Amazon or Alibaba can show up at your house with those necessities you need, and you don't have to go out during COVID. Right? We're doing the same thing by building those bridges. And I think that is the direction that was prominently talked about, among other things that are really cool, like integrating wallets into the browser.
So
can I jump for a
few minutes? Sure.
Just I would like to jump for a second. Can you guarantee when we make all those bridges that we will have more people coming, and you know what I mean? I will tell you an example. You have the most lonely city in the world. It's somewhere in the desert. They build it, they construct it. I think it's in Turkey. It's in Turkey. You can check it. The most lonely. They have they build like city for 100,000 people. And you know what? They sold even half, but there is no one there.
Right.
Why is there no one there? Why no one came to that city to live? It's amazing. They even sold half. We can speak till tomorrow. We will build this bridge, Polkadot, Ethereum bridge, Bitcoin bridge. We can build Jigsaw bridge. But is that going to bring people? Like we have a jelly swap now. If you ask me, it's total failure because, as C7 said, I can swap it in 10
Yes.
places, 10 times cheaper.
Of course.
Why should I pay there, let's say, $20 if I can pay $10 on another? I mean, regarding jelly swap. So
The problem is the user base. The user
Yes.
base.
Yes. So we
can
can
Jelly
build all
swap
the
has
but can you tell me?
users.
Why don't we let C7 just speak a few more second first? Yeah.
So jelly swap has only 200 users.
Yeah.
And the liquidity is 400 tokens.
Yeah.
And the fee is 8-10%. So
crazy,
why should I use jelly swap?
Yeah.
You won't.
Yeah,
That's the
it
beauty of
makes
decentralization
perfect
and
sense.
multiple.
Why did we build it? Why did we build it? No one is
Sure.
going to use. I mean, if Tito doesn't put the fee on 1 or 2, 3%, it's going to be gonna shill it later on or promote it that it's cheaper than other. I mean, you know, just common sense.
Absolutely.
We can see. And then now you are saying me about bridges, and you're telling me about this one and Animoca or whatever it's going to come. And then, my friend, we have community here. How many?
Why? Yeah.
But look, let's. No, I'm just like, how many people we have now in this call? How many? 20, 30 people. That's our community, guys. That's our community.
Yes.
The other 99%. The other 99% is just waiting for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 cents. I mean, we are all waiting. I'm not gonna lie. We are all investors. Someone invested 10,000. Someone invested million. That's fine. But let's see our community. How much we have people now? This is our community. There is not more.
So I think we've asked
exactly
Steven,
that, right?
Guys,
and the whole point.
We've asked Steven several questions. Let's let him answer.
I understand. So I know let him answer, Matt. Don't you answer for him. Yeah, I know we can speak with you, Matt, every time. We see Steven once in a month, so
once in a quarter, right? You mean? Thank you, guys. Matt, thank you. Absolutely helping me moderate. But I can be the host here too. I just would love to listen in a little bit because it's one thing to be responding on the Telegram. It's another to see the emotion, if not the urgency you guys say in your voice. I know Wolf and Matt has been a great community manager to help like telling the information. But I think Jigsaw and C7 brought up many of the critical assessment, but also challenges that we face. And I'm very happy to address each of them. It's one thing to listen in and to really get to know you. It's another to really hands-on tackle this problem. And what C7 said, and Jigsaw sometimes like paying whether me or the team, we really keep that at heart. So if you let me unpack each of them, because you guys asked me very, very broad question, but also very particular problem that we need to address soon. So let me see whether we can list them out so that I don't miss out any. I'm not here to just hang out. I'm here to help you guys understand whether you still see a bright future in us, the potential, whether our roadmap makes sense to you, and telling you why something happened that way, why some of the team structured that way, why we are taking this direction, why some of the products still not out yet. I'm here to answer. But you have to give me time to address each of them, but most of all, give you guys a context of some of our decisions, but also some of the strategy. It's easy to give you an ETA, but very soon, whether you'll be disappointed or you'll be like, why this coming out first before the other one, if you don't know the context. So let me address some of the broader question. What happened to cross-border fiat remittance? What is going on with Animoca? And I think we can save the discussion and skip what happened earlier with the native swap and open staking. I think many of you know discussed many times of that already. But let me focus in particular. What are we talking about when we talk about cross-chain and bridges? Why do we have so many other bridges? We actually have a few more connects, even FSTake with Polkadot, and we're having some even better one coming out. But why I still want to have harmony when we tell more people coming to use the word cross-chain, if not what I said, cross-exchanges, as something that I want you guys to keep helping us to be our vision into the next few quarters. So let me kick off with few one first. I do know JellySwap, if not even some of the toolings for staking, for many of the grants that we gave out so far, it's only a very, very beginning start. That it really felt like that we gave out good money, spent lots of time talking to many people to help out, work out the governance process, but the result may not be as high as we wanted. Either scan many developer tools and having really a app stack of utility is what you guys asked. It's also what the team spent not just yesterday 12 hours on, but like really been debating. Since Open Staking for sure, we actually asked ourselves even 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, this project, that it doesn't even escape a day of our mind that this is a question that you guys would most urgent to know. But now let me tell you why the cross-chain will be the key part to the answer. Again, bridges and cross-chain is not about JellySwap. Bridges is not just about how can we get Ethereum utility to it. I might have some good understanding reading between the lines, maybe during my panel or during my talk with Robin. Unfortunately, nowhere enough to help tell the full story. And even I'm here, maybe even for a few hours with you guys, the story is not complete. I'm going to write far more, but nowhere closer enough to help each of us understand the opportunity of bridges if I don't lay out a few challenges of Harmony, but also like broader layer 1 protocol, but actually most of all, any blockchain project. All of you just want a quick answer, right? When is the next product, ETA coming out, big news coming out? Can our token price, if not a community, be stronger? Why are some of the big name partners not coming in? I'm very happy to just give you a straight up answer, honest feedback. I can even give you an ETA if that's all you wanted. But it's not going to help us constructively ask what is the best opportunity of Harmony. Whether what you can help, like you feel confident of your investment, confident this product will be useful, confident while you're spending time with angels, if not being the governance of our grants without the context. So I can be very strict shooting and tell you what happened. Why is there so many problems? I can even open up even with the team. Is it COVID? Is it an engineer abandoning us? I can be very straight up with you. If that's what helpful for you to be part of the community, be our community and be helpful. But the challenge is it C7? Maybe you can mute. Thank you. Yeah. But the challenge is not figuring out what happened. It's not even the challenge of even predicting what Harmony would do in the next month or two. That part I can have some confidence to tell you. The challenge is to stay alive and do very well because we spend years of time in this. I'm not asking to speculate. Is it still going to be 10x, 100x return for my time and this team's time in this? Never mind your investment. I'm saying, would layer 1 still have its day in the light? Would blockchain ever touched the life of millions, if not my mom's, my family, my friends would use outside of crypto? So you guys actually ask very broad question. If you just want a particular yes or no answer, I can give to that. But to understand, to be the forward-looking, never mind as hard as a startup, but as forward-looking as blockchain, man, all the smart people on crypto Twitter, they're quite wrong on every single thing. They're right in a particular thing, but very few builders. Very, very few. Very, very few got it right over even more than a quarter. So we want to be that. I want to collectively align all of us to be that. There's no point. I can tell you, I struggle even with my team. There's no doubt about it. Because we were so centralized that we put ourselves 996 in the office, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. sometime, 6 days a week, that we were so aligned to accomplish the same thing. Building a functional testnet, going to Binance IEO, launching the first mainnet, launching the native, multiple exchanges, open staking. It may be very optimistic, if not naive, how long some of the things take, but we didn't stop. And even with grants, it wasn't great. Those projects are actually top in the market for many a base layer protocol. As you guys know, it seems silly in retrospect. Why couldn't we have done better with some of the grantees? Please tell me which are the opportunity, if not why we couldn't have done better with some of the grants. That what are the other opportunity? I can tell you for a fact. It's easy to look back in 3 months, and we'll look ahead from here, 3 months from here, to do far better in every single thing. There's a reason why you get to know Peter, even though he's quite opinionated. You guys remember, he'll be awesome. So we are already working with bigger partner more than dev posts. We already have much better understanding of what we want to do with the grants. Why we start with JellySwap is a simple answer. Avalanche was chasing them, Algorand was chasing them, Near was chasing them, that we know that we can learn a lot from them. We're not even close to understanding atomic swap and how to set up the trustless and all the bridges and all the trade-offs until we start working with JellySwap. Of course, we didn't get everything out of it. We have high expectation of them, high volume of them. We could have launched it even better with better marketing. Those are quite circumstantial. At any day, we ask for the mass potential, shoot for, some shoot higher, some end up higher, some really end up not enough. And would you ask us to not have done anything in the last 3 months at all? No. With the grants, we actually gave out close to what, 12 now, close to $400,000. Very expensive. Used to last a lot of our time. Again, we don't even have any of these 13 projects come next. Again, one of the top projects again on Bridge. We have a few more Blitz with Mexico Remittance. We have Everstake, again, a top project in Europe, helping Polkadot. Even Polkadot grants may not be even up to your standard. We want to be even better than Polkadot in terms of grants anyway. But you guys are right. None of this, I would say you guys have high standard of what grantees should have done, what some of our DeFi showcase should have done. You should be as critical, because I don't think blockchain has made it yet. I would definitely say many layer and protocol have not made it yet. But if you let me talk 5 more minutes, now I will tell, those are the problems that we're dealing with. Now let me at least give you an overview about the bridges. I hate to go on like minutes, if not super long, without like you guys asking the next question. I can just record this one, and what Robin and I really wanted to do is unpack the 12 hours into like smaller segments, so that like for a particular question we can open up again, hopefully with video, and it will make me sound so awesome and so powerful that you guys would just be in the distorted reality feel that we will go on for a few moments like this. But let me try, even with a few minutes here. Cross-chain bridge. Each of you understand it quite a little bit differently. So let me see how I can, for each of you, unpack. Some of you are already asking the right question. Even when we have a bridge, what will happen? Why would anyone use it? Why does it matter? Some of you ask completely different question. We are the bridge, the world already a bridge, Ethereum already a bridge, BTC a bridge. Why do we never end the bridge as a layer 1 protocol? Some of you ask other set of questions. Resources allocation. Why bridge at all? Just go to NFT, just do some DeFi, spend some more time with the community, keep chasing USDC and Tether. By the way, we are doing all of them too. So if you let me, I can open up of the overall picture, because at the end of the day, we are only about like good 20 people. And every day we try to really prioritize what matters. What matters is layer 1 protocol have shown that you cannot be an isolated city. So we have done quite impossible things that even layer 1 protocol have not shown. Of course, we fell short in many others. So don't tell me wrong that we are top of the world just yet. We have shown that our EVM compatibility, the top I would say by now 6 DeFi projects can be ported to Harmony without much change within just one team hackathon with our partners. They struggle, no doubt, develop tools, documentation, how to debug, and how to get help, no doubt, don't get me wrong. Which other protocol have Curve, MakerDAO, Yearn, governance, very soon also Balancer, all ported on the base layer protocol on mainnet? Never mind NFT marketplaces. There are many things to do. Those are like quite isolated, right? It's only a few hundred lines of code. I'm talking about real production code that have $100 million of value on a layer 1 mainnet protocol. Actually, there are none. As good as Solana, they're actually using WebAssembly, that the port is possible. To write a new DEX is quite possible, but to port the main protocol with the same security guarantee because the spike has to be synced, it's actually really challenging because it's not straight up EVM. They have a compiler transpiler for the bytecode. For Avalanche, they take an amazing approach too. Why don't I just fork the entire Ethereum with all the states and contract? Many people told me about that. I mean, we talked about one-click migration before, so of course this is even more brilliant. Well, it's a great idea. Does it work? Hopefully we can learn from them now that they've done it. And they're an amazing team, no doubt, right? They raised 40 million to do even more better things that we can learn from. But if you count it, there's no one else that have done it. Many of our competitors, friends or not, that they have like big ideas, partnership. What has really shown on mainnet is one matter. You guys are right. What is on the mainnet is nowhere enough. I keep asking ourselves every day, and you guys should keep reminding us. But the approach is right. Getting the grant started, showcasing the top 10 DeFi application that can work on Harmony. No one will ever even believe you that this chain can work. You guys are right. So far, it's not enough, but can work. But I think, let me address the last point about partnership, because I know it's on the mind of many of you. Because it's one thing to say that we try our best. It's another to ask, how come Tether is not on us? How come Animoca still haven't launched? How come FTX doesn't work with us? How come Binance promised for so long, still not there yet? I really wish too that we were riding the last year invincible summer to a greater height, if not sustain the height. I also wish that we were just 3 months in, that we know this summer is also magical, that we shouldn't have missed out. I also wish that I had more time, and I should be. This is actually no doubt. Every single person, including on the team, including you guys, ask me, just be more out there, host more panel, go to more events, be more externally visible. I actually know most of the crypto. I follow them, I read them. I'm like in some way friends with many of them, but I'm not there. In some way because the team needed me. 12 hours a day sometimes. So it is a hard challenge, not just for me as a CEO, honestly, just because we are human. That when the COVID hit, life don't give us a choice that I want to be just hanging out to the crypto conference and event and traveling around the world and say hi to each of you. We didn't have that choice. But it doesn't have to be. I asked Robin to put us on a new podcast called Cross-Chain Podcast. It shouldn't just be us talking, right? You saw how amazing we are with Deviants, DeFi that we should really change our narrative. We have been too inward. That I fully agree. And it was never our choices, but just the circumstances. But we must. So doesn't matter. Peter have like very strong connection with all the DeFi project. You guys should ask him what is coming and a good investment if you guys are strictly about that. But the fact that we need to also interact with crypto, other project, whether friends or like similar project, has to be true. There's no way that you guys don't see me in like externally visible, whether on crypto, Twitter or conference. So cross-chain podcasts is going to be our strong narrative. I know other projects done well in terms of like not just talking about themselves or just within themselves or just with the team or just with, with Telegram, but to actually be part of the broader crypto conversation. That I agree, I made some conscious decision last year that we didn't do well. I thought crypto conference are for the weak and for the waste of time. I thought that we must get into even fintech, if not traditional business, to have a chance that crypto will make an impact. We may be wrong, we may not get it, it may take even longer, it may be less hype, but I wanted to get into more like a fintech conversation. Didn't do well. All the conference really shift. We were not even part of some of the crypto conversation. Everyone, you know what? If it's like straight up like winter time for the entire year, maybe DeFi didn't get as hot the last few months, that we were just not in part of the crypto conversation, maybe it's fine. Maybe we have more traction on the fiat fintech, will be fine too. But it doesn't have to be that way. We found a better narrative now, stronger position called cross-chain, that we should be able to talk to all the DeFi project, all the even other layer one protocol project, all the new upcoming project called Lazy Ledger, if not even leader in the zero knowledge proof, that they actually are very open to collaboration, if not conversation. Even some project that are doing like wrapped BTC, KIPS network, that we actually have like good chat, some meetings actually, but never like broadcast as a host. So we'll get started with that. So the other thing that we'll start is many of the developer development that Peter will also spearhead. But let me stop here because I already talked 10 minutes. Wolf or Matt or C7, let me know. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing all that, Stephen.
Yeah.
Some great insight on where you guys are thinking Harmony is going to go, how you plan to address some of the issues, and the fact that you acknowledged some of the issues in a very humble and understanding way, I think is outstanding. I think that that's respected. I know by myself and probably some of the other parts of the community, because until we identify a problem and acknowledge it, we can't fix it. So that's huge. Wolf, I know you had some questions from the Telegram community of people that haven't been able to come here. Do you want to bring those out at this point?
I did, yes. 2 seconds. They
Yeah.
are here. We had the very first one that we got today, so I have to get this one out of the way. When is it likely that we will see 3-second finality? And is this still on the roadmap?
It is, yeah. So I hope, I believe that our roadmap is always screenshot and always come back to haunt me for the rest of my life. So whatever that we thought it was important, we have been at work at it. We only updated the roadmap last week to give you guys a better sense with the blog post, but we didn't mention about 3-second finality again. Not because we are not working on it, we just can't make a big deal talking why it was not in Q3, what are still in the progress. Maybe another AMA with RJ, Rongjin, our CTO, will be a really good idea in a week or two. So what happened with the 3-second finality is what I've been really pushing hard for the team to make it happen. It's very challenging. We have lots of maintenance services, mainnet rollout, and our validator operation that we need to do. But the 3-second finality is going to be still a key differentiation that I even asked Peter to make a big marketing deal out of it. It's one thing that we talk about high performance in terms of TPS. Actually, most of the crypto people don't understand what it means to have different, faster finality. I don't mean to speak ill of other projects, but even Ethereum 2, Cosmo, and Polkadot have very different finality that actually no one understands. In some way, of course, we are selling our strong strengths, right? We don't do benchmark TPS anymore. We don't talk about sub-second transaction like block time anymore, because it's very challenging to compete with Solana and Avalanche that take completely different approach, that they don't talk about finality, right? If you take a little bit probabilistic, if not like smaller short size or like validator size, the architecture is very different. But then the community, if not the blockchain overall, should be more educated so that it really show our strengths, right? It's okay to take with a sharding approach, or right now people are debating like what even Ethereum 2 versus about layer 2, they call it the data availability and the state sharding versus just general like node sharding. These are very critical blockchain questions that is really back in the time. Should you have a general EVM, or you should just go extend Bitcoin? That this is really where not just cross-chain, that hopefully our marketing team can help tell a narrative. So the short answer is coming, and RJ really promised soon. If you want to hear a day, I can tell you too, but just don't hold me to it, because hold RJ to it, not me. Wolf, I know you have one more, but actually I want Max. Max also asked me a few questions on WeChat too, so if Max still here, but Wolf, keep coming.
Sure. So the reduced focus currently on Crossfire and the new focus on cross-chain and exchanges seems to somehow limit the audience primarily to within the crypto world. At least that's what we gather. So is it possible to also, for us to also keep focusing on the Crossfire vertical as well and roll out products with your partners in Asia that are end user facing?
Right, right. So we still want to boil the ocean and change the world and 10 billion people in mind. I joke to the team, but it's really true. Is it going to be a $10 billion business, or is it going to be a 10 billion people that we can still talk about in a few decades? It's always true that we have the ambition to really be able to talk about people and businesses, anyone in the world, and there's no one other than the 10,000, maybe 1 million now with MetaMask within the crypto, that there are still 99.9% that we haven't really made an impact. It is really crazy that we ask ourselves, are we adaptive enough to the market to see what is the market opening, what is really the traction, what has proven true that we must pay attention to, versus staying true to our mission, that we shouldn't just be like trading tokens to each other, but actually making a product that is meaningful, if not impact, to users outside crypto. So the great answer is, if you let me, that finally we find a narrative that connect the dots. Even the fiat gateway and the cross-border finance, I haven't really told you guys how we're going to achieve it. We actually have better ideas now. I didn't quite use the word cross-fi in the roadmap post, but I actually talk quite a bit about fiat. But I think it's quite lost because we pack in as much as we can without making it another white paper or a full book of all the references that I cite. Unfortunately, it really takes as much to know where blockchain is going. Just like you guys spend as much time every day on crypto Twitter. Well, imagine the top 10 like great influencer you follow. If you missed one tweet, you felt like you missed the entire where crypto blockchain is going. It's also just as true. In terms of the platform, in terms of the product, there are a lot that I need to unpack to you. Hopefully some here, so that you guys understand how to connect the following. What we have done, what we want to do, what we're doing right now, what we can do this quarter, what can be done the Q1, Q2 next quarter, all the way to really fiat and non-crypto product. So again, it's a long journey. So let me know how deep per quarter to go into, but also each of the, like, where are the docs? Can you connect yourself? And that's a challenge. I can tell you everything in my head. I can tell you literally hundreds of articles I read so that it come to really, like, I don't know, 1,000-word blog post that I send you. But it's impossible for you to help me tell the next person, because that's what it takes. My investor, my team in my last 10 years of journey are just so awesome. Because once I pitch to them, like, I don't know, 5 times, they become our advocate. Like Max, my last startup, Javelin Venture, if some of you use Masterclass, they are our early investor that become crazy about us, that help us advocate what to do and help us actually sell to Apple. Same thing with Harmony. We have the TGI so strong that maybe they don't know what blockchain is, but they will tell the world that they trust this group of people, if not the team. However, you guys asked me a very different question. You guys are not asking whether Stephen is a real person or not, or just a picture on the white paper. That's 2 years ago, right? You guys ask, can you understand every word on the roadmap, blog post, enough to tell the next person? It's a high bar. I haven't even finished that with my team yet. And it would not make sense at all. The roadmap would not make sense at all if you just understand one part of that roadmap. Because blockchain doesn't make sense. Layer 1 still doesn't make sense. No one has proven to a product market fit yet that's meaningful without actually knowing the dot. And the dots are coming. Solana just announced another cross-chain initiative. There are multiple layer 1 that actually have amazing Uniswap clone. There are really stronger story to come once you connect the 2 more chains. And I'll tell you why that is critical. So I'm very happy to like go to the multiple dots, but let me hold that thought. If you let me hold that thought, because there are like what we have done that we can reuse. There are things that we're building today, whether ourselves or the grants. There are things that we hope to accomplish by Q4 that put in different position. But then if you ask me, are we narrowing our impact? Obviously not. If you even search the word fiat on the blog post, I don't expand as much and I have a lot more, but I couldn't quite summarize everything. I don't have all the time in the world to unpack without losing your interest or attention, but we do have that. And the great thing is there are sometimes the gap is really far, sometimes the gap is not connectable without me explaining a lot more. And really, if it takes 12 hours, I can be here and Robin will help us to make videos so that it is more consumable, that you guys can buy in. But I can tell you for a fact, if you're really thinking about building a global platform that have a chance to even beyond your understanding of what one user, one community, one application need, it really requires as much context to be able to connect all this together. I will jump into each of the quarter a little bit, but I promise Max, I'll answer one question for him as well. Max, is the San Francisco bridge?
Are you talking about the question I had on WeChat the other day, or?
Any other thing? I just want to make sure that we have a chance to hear you a little bit.
Sure. No. I mean, the thing I was addressing the last time we chatted on WeChat was, so I like this example with this thing Jigsaw made with this nice, beautiful town, right, in the middle of nowhere. And now we are building bridges from the highways around it so you can actually access the town, right?
Yeah.
So the next step, if I were to populate and make this town a success, would be like marketing, right? Like whatever, tell people this actually exists. So, and you said it's different in crypto, and I guess that's right. But what are plans for, letting more folks know that this is actually a pretty neat layer 1 option, especially everyone's been complaining about all those gas fees. And Ethereum really has become the blockchain for the 1%, right?
Yeah.
Because who in Africa, I mean, seriously, who can afford 7, 8, 10 bucks per transaction? I mean, where you make 60 bucks a month.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. So that's, I think that has to be much more brought forward. So yeah, that was my question, since I don't have so much knowledge about the tech. That's what my general question is.
Yeah, I'm glad you articulate that way, because that will help set up my answer very, very like right to the point. It's a paradox. I'm glad that you used the everyone understand the city analogy by now. There's a far, far away land where it's so hippie that anything you do is free, food is free, everything happens so fast. You can have multiple meals a day. I don't know what energy you need to understand, but no one wants to go there. And there are some like New York City that everyone rather be there and die and live on the street. That doesn't make sense at all. And to say that we are the bridge, that we build a super long bridge and we spend all our effort connecting New York to, I don't know, Florida? No, it must be somewhere that will be the harmony analogy of the city, right? That, no, that's not the end of the story. Because the paradox is actually much harder to solve. The puzzle is actually quite harder to solve. Let me tell you why. But can I start with the punchline? If you're still here for me to like unpack it. The punchline is, we're not just building a bridge to a far, far land that no one wants to visit, that have no utility yet. I mean, we are boosting them organically, right? Don't call me and just tell the world that how many land is that, right? Or like there's no way to bootstrap it. We really have big initiative, and please keep asking Peter every day, whatever, that he can still disclose that we care about developer. Obviously, we care about the grantees a lot. We really still have a very strong position that grow organically, even within the city. And we know developer at the heart. We're still working hard to outreach to partners. Don't take us wrong that we are abandoning anything, but we are working hard to hold our city vibrant. But all of you see that the world is much bigger than the Harmony land. But how to take the people to New York virtually is completely different. Let me give you the punchline. Harmony is the bridge. Harmony is the hub. The biggest two cities in the world is actually BTC and ETH. You guys know that. Can Harmony not only be a city far, far away itself? Because in the virtual land, in the blockchain, on the online world, you don't need to be constrained what role you play. We're going to have an awesome bridge. We're going to release a white paper just on the bridge design and the gas efficiency and why there's still innovation on being trustless, but also far more possible. There's still no proven bridge in the world, by the way, beyond TPDC, some new design called Exclaim. Connect is making lots of like traction, but very, very early. We are not just a far, far away city, but we are literally the hub in the middle. Again, this is a strong statement, but probably that's what you need to hear. Matt?
If I could, I think to a degree, Max was asking about once we connect to Ethereum and connect all of the layer one, it's important then to differentiate ourselves somehow. That now we become one platform among many, all connectable, all essentially. So how do we convince people to join the Harmony community? And a big part of that, I heard the word advertising. And I, of course, with what I do, keyed in on that. That's huge because the most successful games in the world, to use games or software companies, spend 100 times, 200 times their revenue that they have dedicated towards building software. They have to spend all of that money on advertising to get the word out. Now, obviously, it's a much smaller community if we're focusing internally in cryptocurrency, but eventually we want to get to the rest of the world. Sure. So it sounded to me, and I might be wrong, Max, please correct me if I was, but the question is, what are we doing about marketing? What's that marketing plan moving forward?
So it's a little bit different. Max definitely asked about can we like really boost up our branding and marketing in general, but Matt also talked about advertisement, like business in general, or are we advertising ourselves? Which way, Matt?
Well, it's all of it, getting the word out so the community knows
meaning
about
how do
farming.
we do our
And
branding? How do we do like better marketing?
yeah,
You are right that too. Matt asked me what is on our marketing team that we should really really load up and actually do much better, but also much more marketing. I think those are more like logistic. Maybe we should really come up with even a marketing plan. But honestly, whether hiring more people or like show up in more conference, doing cross-chain podcasts, those are things that are quite known, right? It's really at the execution level. So if you let me answer a few more strategic questions that is very hard to understand. If not even like, these are the reasons why you still believe it's true. How to execute marketing? Can we hire some more help? Why don't we even pay off to be on different stage to do marketing? Those are very practical and logistical questions that we must do better. But I think there's still quite a lot unknown, meaning do you still want to stay with this strategy that you believe in, or you felt like that this team has gone crazy? Let's decide on this first, right? But Matt posed it differently. Even we build a bridge, how do we bring utility? Why would anyone come? Maybe this is still a good analogy that help you guys latch onto. We are not just a bridge. We are building a bridge. We are not just using the bridge to ask people to come to this far land. We'll become the hub. There's an analogy in the world, right? It's not just you are like New York and Washington, right? I don't know. Somewhere in the middle is like Philadelphia. Philadelphia become a hub itself. Never mind all the part. I'm just using an analogy that the bridge itself has value, and I'll tell you how. That will become the reason independently, meaning you are just a like drive-by town. Why it become a prosperous town, even though it's tax-free, even though there are few good people there, even though innovation and there are technology there, has to have that traffic. And the good analogy, maybe I'll really write out using that analogy, that the hub itself can have utility. And now, again, I've been holding it. I don't mean to like keep talking about high level, but we need to have this framework. Otherwise, we keep coming back to our old framework, which is how can we make layer one more attractive, better advertisement, people know about it, better tools. We are making all that happen. That town has to be growing by itself. What I meant to say is, finally, the world has come to the stage that realize that, oh, you have Ethereum on one, BTC on next, New York and Washington is not going to die. What are you going to do about them? We are positioning ourselves right in the middle to be the hub. But for what? Hub for what is what I'm going to tell you. The hub for what answer is what Harmony finally able to do the last few months. We are able to really port the few DeFi apps on our platform on mainnet. We are able to we've done a few hackathons. Unfortunately, it's really difficult without bootstrapping the entire team to that level of skill, but also understanding what is happening on DeFi. Please honestly tell me whether you individually were able to catch up all the DeFi stories this summer. Is what we did as well. On top of everything that we have to keep doing, we were able to understand and capture some of the narrative. Nowhere that changed our journey, but we were really stay at the bleeding edge and state of the art of doing the following. We have the first hackathon is really about a demo of all our tooling and ability of like, you guys know most of it, so I don't need to keep talking. I just want to give you guys the steps that we have going through. First of all, showcasing all the emoji NFT marketplaces and a few demo that show where the soccer player that it is possible. So much so that we are really finishing the Animoca initiative soon. Again, soon. Hopefully you guys have the patience for it now that you waited 1 year. Second thing is we showcase all the top 5, 6 DeFi apps is really quite possible. And actually some on mainnet, some actually taken on the community seesaw, and also for things that we keep on experimenting with Curve and Balancer. So much so that with grants and other people really see that there are really showcases that they can follow. But then the most of all is a cross-chain hackathon. Again, all those happened within just 7 days of our team working nonstop, weekend and Sunday, both Sundays. We try the hackathon to be like crossing 2 Sundays so that we have lots of time to unpack. Why I mentioned about that is the world actually didn't know those opportunities exist literally just 2-3 months ago. Everyone talk about like BTC, ETH, RAB. Everyone talk about like rapid BTC to be very different now and huge lockup value. None of that matter until there are very few designs that came out. I'm talking about like Kips Network TBTC. I'm talking about near protocol Rainbow. I mean, they were quite ahead. I can tell you. Not just talking about the bridge. I mean, they still don't have a mainnet that can enable application and token transfer, but they are talking about bridge already a few months ago. That finally, we also have the capacity. We care so much about open staking. We care so much about the mainnet usability that we know about bridge. If you guys remember, bridge was actually the Q3 roadmap. We actually rolled it just right around. In April, May, when we designed a new website, we actually wrote ETA bridge on our roadmap for Q3. We know that, me and RJ, but we didn't spend as much time like researching and playing with all the product and coming with a design that can be the showcase or different. Let me tell you why they will be different. Our bridge will be so much more efficient and trustless. That it's not just going to be a technology showcase that we can build stuff. That will bring utility the world still haven't seen yet. It's a very strong claim, so you have to believe me. And if you want to know why, I have to unpack a lot more. Building bridge is quite possible. There are lots of swaps. There are lots of like all these atomic time hash contract that people know what to do. But does any of you follow why Kips Network, the TBTC, was able to bootstrap 100 millions just in a few weeks? It just got launched. Why REN protocol on the BTC was able to have like hundreds of millions of dollars, and WBTC obviously 100 million. I don't need to go deep, but to tell you the fact that there are still lots of technology, if they build it in a trustless way, that maybe you heard many of the swaps and even bridge project before, they are all actually not legitimate for the future. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, exchanges before. There are only one decentralized exchange that works to 10 billion transaction volume, which is Uniswap. And I'll come back to it because my roadmap talk about it, and I can say that's also lots of source of confusion. But if you let me, there are two things that we're building. We're both building the bridge, not just because we want people to come to Harmony, but become the hub. And I'll tell you how, because we're connecting two of the biggest ecosystem, and there are new utility that we find out that we can talk about. The second thing that we have clean is we are porting Uniswap, showcasing Uniswap v2 on Harmony, and we are launching in coming weeks, so you guys will see it very soon. Not just because we want another like hackathon showcase project that bootstrap another like governance token and all that, because there are far more infrastructure work that will be innovating on the automated market making, on market making in general, and all the book, the way that Serum and FTX has been innovating, if not capturing the narrative. We're not chasing the wind, but we finally identify how it really falls into our roadmap as far as the fiat story. I talked a little bit about that with Robin, but just let me keep you guys interested in not dropping off the call. There is a common theme across everything we just said, which is liquidity infrastructure. That's another punchline. So I'm going to keep talking about it probably for my next few months. So you're the first one to hear it first. Liquidity infrastructure.
I think that's important. And as you mentioned, I believe it was in the video with Steven. It may have been the article you wrote on the 25th. I'm not sure. You're right. A lot of the community does not fully understand DeFi, nor do they understand these liquidity pools and why they are so instrumental once we get layer one connected to really decentralizing finance and allowing people that are in parts of the world, for example, there's countries in this world where maybe 20 to 30% of the population in that country have a government furnished ID and can get a bank account. How do they earn money? If they're brilliant, how do they get money to start something, to take an idea and turn it into a reality? We have a huge untapped resource on this planet who are underserved and underprivileged. And I think that DeFi, well, I know that DeFi is the foundation of it, and it all comes down to liquidity pools. And that LP acronym is big and scary to people because they've seen these crazy returns, right? 600%, 8,000%. That happens. Yes, people have made that money, but they know a lot more than you do. And in order to make that money, someone had to lose it. And most of the people out there that
it doesn't. I'm going to claim that it doesn't have to do just throwing virtual tokens in the world and cheating whoever comes last. I actually figure it out. But thanks, Matt, for setting the context for me to take a break, drink the water. That honestly, the world doesn't understand all this yield farming or liquidity, even just like 2-3 months ago. I must confess to you, I did not. If it's not because of Peter and some of the awesome teammates of mine like Nick and Seb, we may have not understanding why it's critical for Harmony. But let me bring it back. And I promise you, it's not my Ponzi scheme that our next fork token is going to be like amazing and to be like hyping for no value, no utility. I actually figure out what is the utility for the world. We know whatever we build, whatever we experiment, we know that we are going for like the real, I talk about create a new economy, right? Create radically fair economy. And then finally can connect all the dots if you just hang on to 2 words, liquidity, infrastructure. So I'll unpack what that means for as a bridge, as cross-chain, but also for cross-exchange, but also later on cross-fiat. And it will really make sense if you know the word infrastructure is who we are. And there's so much more infrastructure work we do now that we position it that way. And it will make you feel that we are not abandoning anything. We are not even shifting focus. I'm just laying out more dots, for sure some new terms, for us to all connect together of the roadmap of the future that Harmony wants to build. And hopefully in some way it's really about how I see what it means to build a fintech company or fintech infrastructure that the world can actually now put it together. But enough materials, punchline as well. Now let me go into it. I feel like it's a rap song that I need a punchline, and then I need like blah 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 blah, so that you guys get all the material as well. Let me try. The liquidity is just a general word, and pool is just a shorter word. It's the same thing. That when people talk about arbitrage, when people talk about cash flow, when people talk about there are the asset on ETH and on BTC, but there's none elsewhere. Even though you have a higher value proposition of the features of the chain ecosystem, why are all the ecosystem not helping each other, not taking advantage of a faster chain, but like more secure system, more secure asset like BTC, more like more project users already there on ETH. Every platform, every country actually have the same story about, if we use the word liquidity, it's the same thing in traditional business when they say cash flow. What we notice is, and I spent quite some time talking to the team yesterday, that don't be lost if you don't understand how traditional business, now that they are cross-border, now that it's global, now that they are long tail, that they actually have lots of need to connect, whether you have a marketplace on Amazon compared to you are on Alibaba or WeChat, that each of this pool of your resources, you need to connect them together. It's a very far story that I won't unpack this year other than making the analogy. But it has the same identical problem if you want to connect that far as what we're building as soon as the bridge that we need, even just to talk about ETA and BTC. Let me say it again. The problem that we are solving now to connect BTC and ETH and has some value in the middle of it as hub is the same liquidity infrastructure. You call it gas efficient light client, you call it trustless bridge, that can help us also solve later on when we have to connect more exchanges for some of the other crypto assets in order to facilitate their own asset. In some way, that's what centralized exchange have been doing. In some way, that's what professional market maker, and I have some experience of it because I was the customers too, and we have been having to deal with this problem. Now, I have to jump into the actual utility, so otherwise you will just keep getting lost about the big picture, but not knowing something concrete to hang on to. The actual utility, once you become the hub, is the following. We're not just one more bridge like the rest of the world. We must identify something that hopefully can even happen in Q4. It's a high expectation. I mean, it's one thing to dream about research to that. It's another to actually have the engineers build for it, while we still have so many other things that we want to do. But let me tell you the next thing that is coming, that are very, very concrete and meaningful, hopefully differentiated from Harmony. Once we have the bridge, once we have the showcase, which is Uniswap on Harmony, what will happen is we will show there are trading pairs that couldn't happen anywhere else, but can just be as efficient, as high volume, as trustless that the world hasn't seen before. And all of them has to be true. Otherwise, it will happen somewhere else already. And it's called the cross-chain Uniswap. Guess what? If you search those few keywords, and if you read long enough, that's what I do, by the way. Any ideas I have, I don't just like make up words or like make a few links and imagine that is a valid idea. I try to really do my own product research, market research, talk to as many people as possible before I can tell you. So you may even have heard about the idea called cross-chain Uniswap by now. And I promise you, you'll hear them far more the next few months. I promise you that. You can't claim yourself to be a globally competitive innovation and you have the best idea of the world if no one is doing it at the same time. Cross-chain Uniswap will be our best strategy, but best strategy, the only defense is great execution, if not faster execution. So don't hold me to that, whether it's happening in this quarter, don't hold me to that. This is our unique strategy. None of them make sense if you just want to be unique and it happen as fast as we can build. Now, let me tell you why that satisfies the three things I told you. It is trustless, it is efficient, and it will be high volume enough that any small improvement that we prove that trustless is painful, it is actually not as great customer service, that will still make sense. It is really more efficient. And I promise you, the white paper that will come out is working with the top researcher in the world, that whatever we say, at least it makes sense somewhat, that we really meant to come up with a technology that will set us apart. And I will tell you that it really set us so far apart that we are really at the level of the top research in the world, like Cardano, if not Ethereum Foundation. That I'm very confident. Like in terms of technical understanding, in terms of like what is the top technology in the world, we still have very strong understanding. Now the last part is high volume. That also is critical. Whatever we do, actually, we already have proven that it works. Whatever I promise you, what I have not achieved to your standard, also to my standard, is what is the where is the traction and where is the volume? Whatever you do, give me some more, right? So we were never able to do that. To say, hey, we are just another CryptoKitties. Once we build the infrastructure, CryptoKitty will just come. I mean, we wish. Our Mocha partner actually have like great traction this summer with the F1 Delta car auction sandbox. We're still working with them. We're still hoping things will still happen. So no doubt that we try this one. But let me tell you a new thing that will satisfy these properties. So the trust, the efficiency, the trustless part is actually very easy. You know the story of Uniswap already, so I'm not going to dive into that. We still need to believe DEX as something that the world haven't seen before. And we're not pivoting to DEX, by the way, guys. We're building the infrastructure for liquidity like Uniswap. Whether you call it showcase, whether like FTX, they partner with Solana, whether there will be multiple projects that will fork the Serum DEX. There are already more than 10 projects that fork Serum to innovate. We want to be as low-level infrastructure showcase as possible so that more innovations can come, more projects similar to Serum, like Uniswap can come. And we have to be as open as that. Ethereum is successful not because, Matt, if I may finish the story. Ethereum is successful not because like they have a special switch that said you cannot look at my contract, you cannot even assembly my Solidity code, that you cannot change my contract for. It's quite the opposite, and we want to be there. We'll showcase our Uniswap. We need to make it possible. We need to work with partners to bring up the attention, if not the order book. We don't know how yet, honestly. We're still working on it. We don't know how the governance or the legal work yet. We're figuring it out. But Uniswap will showcase the trustless part, that there are value there. Once we bring two assets, or two bridges actually, one to BTC, one to ETH, how to have the trustless dApps that will showcase the last two parts, efficiency and high volume. So the Uniswap will fulfill that story. And it's great. Everyone may know that DEX is actually the first showcase for many of the blockchain technology. Second part, efficiency, is where we strongly believe that the world's innovation on TBTC or like ETH bridge has not finished yet. And we are very glad that we are right at the top of it, that we must build the hardest part about, wow, it doesn't make sense to pay actually like $50 to do a ETH to any bridge actually, because to push back the transaction is what Mir's bridge design is still struggling with. We learn a lot about it. We are part of the community. They are our friends, by the way. It's not about, we are just making a critical assessment here that we also have to deal with. We will come up with a good design there. If you want me to keep expanding, we specifically said we're going to put multiple light clients into our node. That Harmony validator is not just going to be validating Harmony transactions, but validating transaction across with other chains. But you didn't know what is the high volume coming, so I have to say that too before you guys are lost, even though we have the framework of the three things. The thing we're going to have with the high volume pair is quite unknown, but here's my hypothesis. Once we bridge the BTC and ETH, we're not trying to bring asset to Harmony only. That will naturally happen if there are better utility to think about. Let me say it again. Between two cities, you are the hub. You are not trying to load up all the goods and people to the hub. Sometimes some of the hub become bigger than the city they connect for sure. But we need to think, as you asked me actually, what is the utility of this hub once you build a bridge? The hub itself, as the town itself, has value, right? There are some people there. We're going to bring developers here. Da 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 da. You know the full story that we have been building for 2 years already. What the world hasn't really understand what's next once you have the hub is there are still things that has value, very, very little, nothing shiny, nothing that you will come up in the shower that the world needs, that we haven't seen before, that we didn't know was possible for harmony capture before. It's some of the higher trading pairs that currently is still not possible with Uniswap. I'm talking about the trade between BTC and ETH. I'm talking about the trade of USDT on Bitcoin only native token to the same USDT Tether on Ethereum. Some of these concepts are quite new to most people. So let me say it again. Even for stable coins, you would not say stable coins is the industry itself last year, would you? If so, why didn't you just jump onto a stablecoin project? Many people try actually. Stablecoins was really happening in Q2. I honestly missed the chance of engaging Tether as well as USDC stablecoin much more meaningfully. I mean, we were part of the conversation. We didn't push hard to focus on the sticking. It was quite a critical timing of the market. But it's not the end. Why would anyone pay hundreds of, sometimes thousands if you trade $1 million just to swap the same pair of USD dollars, sometimes of the same asset, which is BUSD from some chain to another chain, which is what we have to deal with our partner, and USDT on Tron, on Omni, which is Bitcoin, and on ERC20. May not be understood to some of you unless you are a trader, unless you are a business that actually have all these assets. But if you just quickly check both centralized exchange, but also decentralized exchange for sure, these are the highest volume. And crazy enough, that's what Uniswap can do today. And in some way, honestly, we still need to do far more diligence on even this product idea. It is hypothesis until it's proven. But we see strong evidence that this is a very, very tiny spread, but will be the first, again, showcase and utility of our cross-chain, but also of a new DeFi product, which is Uniswap on a different chain. So I'm going to stop here, but if you extrapolate the same concept of liquidity and infrastructure is the common theme that we're building. And we are not losing our insight about, now that we do that, what's next? Why would it impact other fiat business? We do have some story, but more and more extrapolation here. With C7 or like Wolf, JB, great seeing you again. Want to jump in here?
Yes, I will jump a little.
Please do, please do.
So I don't have a problem with focusing too much on this cross-chain exchange on bridges. But DeFi, as it is now, is a food Ponzi where people are chasing the highest APIs and the money. Smart people are dumping on newbies and newcomers, and this is not the real DeFi. About the bridge is like, I feel that it will be like I starting to build a pool for parties with my friends, and the COVID strikes and I can't use the pool for 2 years. And I feel it's like we are fighting for small bites of food within the industry, which are much smaller than selling services for near $1 trillion market for remittance. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think we should focus more on what problem can we really solve. And I don't know if these bridges, it will solve this problem. It will be a problem solved among other blockchains, but not a real problem for the end user, in my opinion.
Very good one.
Now,
How many people want to talk about remittance? Because I would love to talk more about it. Yeah. But more
now,
C7. Yeah.
Now I want to get back a little to the grants. I think we need governance on chain, off chain for these grants. Having governance on chain, I think it will be something better than it is now. Our community is very little, it's tiny. Every day is even tiny, and we need to win back our community, to win back the trust of these people. I mean, we build a Ferrari, and we need sellers. We need a hunting team, a bigger team for Peter maybe, and start negotiating with some big guys, show them what this Ferrari can do, and bring them here, convince them to buy this Ferrari. I don't know how to explain better. We have the product, but we don't have the buyers. This is our problem now.
Thank you for articulating that way. It's actually very good to answer directly. Wolf, you were about to jump in?
No, you're fine. Yeah.
Okay,
no,
so let me talk about
it. Yeah.
So let me just talk about remittance just a little bit. Whatever that you want to answer. But I think you guys have to excuse me maybe in 20 or 30 minutes though. Otherwise, I'm just going to be dead. I still have a few more meetings today. Just so that I will come back, right? If you keep grilling me and I pass out or die, you won't see me in a month. But let me promise you a few things. So I would put Lee, after RJ, maybe Lee to be an AMA about governance, about grants. Lee is the one driving the grants, for sure the process. We are all helping to bring in better grants, but Lee should really answer about what's happening, why, and how do we do the selection, how do we do better. There's no reason why we don't do better governance. I mean, we put it on chain, we call that the Google spreadsheet, but that's not what you guys wanted, right? We can do better, there's no doubt. But Lee will be a better person so that you guys hear other, like quite hard to answer questions, right? What about bigger, broader impact to remittance and other big industry? Second thing is, obviously, you guys all want Peter to be answering much more about marketing, general branding, what I thought about even BizDev. Whether Sahil or Peter, I think you guys really have like still lots of trust on the people on the team, but we never got a chance to go this deep. Honestly, some of the topic, I don't even have time to go as deep with my team. That's how busy we are. That's how crazy COVID has become. But it doesn't have to be that way. As long as you want it once a month, as long as you give me a particular topic, Peter can answer as good as marketing. Because Peter and I syncing up on that. Lee and I literally have voice message every hour just to stay in sync. But it didn't to be so out of sync with you guys either. So let me talk about remittance a little bit, and then again talk about partnership, if not how to sell a little bit to round up the day. If you really have a top question, really just keep dancing in the background. Otherwise, I'll ignore you and just drop off from here. On remittance and fiat and product, that really is not what the crypto world managed to solve, rather than just like playing Ponzi for a summer. It's always something that I keep in mind every day. Why do I wake up to play a Ponzi game, or just to live a summer? And I will see half of you by the winter time of crypto, or like there'll be a new bunch of community. That's not the game I play. You are right. We need to think about beyond a few incentives, a few governance token that maybe, if we're lucky, if we have this conversation, if the team were building different things a few months ago, that even a new token, whether Serum or YFI, could have been on Binance even by now. Hindsight was useful, but we actually have some perspective of why this time is not about just a short-lived governance either. So I'm going to talk about that and why it will come back to the remittance. So remittance is something that we have been researching and understanding. And that game is not easy to play either. I don't know whether you guys remember me keep talking about how traditional fintech have been tackling remittance for ages, including Bitcoin itself. There are specific crypto blockchain project that is just solving the remittance problem that would love to be the infrastructure for, which we learn quite a bit from different partners, grantees building on us now, that we're not abandoning the remittance problem. Now the question is, why don't we spend more time on it, more resources on it? What are still some of the gaps before we can really tell the story? I actually wrote the word remittance on our roadmap, so I didn't forget about it. But why don't we announce more? Why don't we have the full team building on it? That's a different question. The question is, what is the market ready to accept remittance on Harmony, if not blockchain in general? I can go into quite some framework and analysis to answer. As a matter of fact, so he'll spend quite many months. Peter, when I brought him on board, I really promised him that we are builders building stuff that beyond crypto, that he was very believing to the fiat story, cross-border finance story, that even though we don't have the next white paper or product to come out, we don't forget. But let me connect the dot there, that whatever we're building today, why is it important for remittance? Remittance is not just having another ledger and having a mobile phone and a mobile app and people would just use it for remittance. No way, right? It's easy to say remittance between you and your family, your mom. We can build that, no problem. But millions of people won't use it because there are distribution, because there are local partners, never mind all the legals and all that. We knew the challenges. I didn't mean to here to talk about just challenges, but finally we identify what we can build. We always knew that there are still lots of infrastructure and middleware SDK that we need to build. Guys, I had my panel with Stella CEO just yesterday. I spent so much time reading about Ripple, everything public, even the MoneyGram quarterly earnings in their public company that they did disclose. Stella, my best friend, my very good friend anyway, that we went to my first startup incubator, is now the head of the Stella Development Fund. Whenever I do a panel, I don't just show up. I actually spend at least an hour reading everything that my panel speaker is doing, thinking about the tweets, Stella's position. So I do know the remittance that I will be very happy to analyze. But it's one thing to analyze. I'm not an academic. I want to make an impact, needing money too in the world. But knowing your opportunity is very important. Knowing what you can actually do. The whole concept of team product market fit is very different from just hey, this is a sexy idea. I'm an investor. Let me put my money in it. Hey, I'm just an analyst. I'm just a crypto Twitter thought leader. It's actually quite easy to be a thought leader. I want to be one actually. Because you just need to analyze. You just need to learn every day. To be a builder is very hard. We're very lucky that you guys trust me with millions of dollars to keep building. But I also have to answer the question, what product does the market really want today? So we know that the product in the future the world needs is really a different fintech infrastructure. We know the fintech revolution is coming, but what we don't know is what will happen this quarter and next year. The hardest of all, and I must make the best bet, is what this quarter Harmony can do so that we are part of the market innovation and catch on with the next market wave. Is always true that you need to ride the waves. We're not riding the wave to play the Ponzi game, but you must be having a product the user and the market can validate for you. We were lucky to have spent entire first year to be doing nothing but innovating technology. We are 2 years in. You guys are waiting. I am impatient. The first thing the market can validate is my cross-exchange market making for crypto asset idea. You think that you want to do remittance for USD and rupee, by the way, and which we have lots of story that we have. Sayur is actually in India right now, talking to many of the partners, but not enough to like announce yet what we can do. Not a product that 1,000, never mind million users can use. It's a very long journey. So it's easy to say that, oh, I want remittance. Oh, blockchain makes sense for remittance. Oh, Harmony should do remittance. How do we get 1 million users? It's really beyond just having a grant that do some marketing, that have our friends, if not even our partner in Mexico or India. It's extremely competitive. Extremely competitive. We can literally put $1 million in and we will not get $1 million out. That won't sustain, by the way. Because of one thing. Even Ripple, after 5 years, only come up with one key term. And if you don't know what that key term is, very few people understand what remittance market is really hard to crack. And I can send you one key article if you really want to know. That key term is called on-demand liquidity. Now you know I'm the greatest artist in the world, right? I only steal the best ideas. On-demand liquidity is what Ripple is going to go IPO on. And Ripple is going IPO. If you are investors in the know, you also know, well, hopefully this is not up to public record because Ripple do have lawyers, that they must come up with that product. Honestly, not enough to show that Harmony can easily just steal and capture, but they're still selling that on-demand liquidity. They have to manage different remittance partner and different local currency, different local branch, how to on-demand, just meaning dynamic, on-chain, so that you can really manage them really quickly compared to traditional banks and talking to your investment bankers to transfer a few millions across countries rather than days within hours, so that they can have the business on roll. Guess what's the hard part about remittance? The easy hub and spot, like if you are having a remittance store right at the central of Hong Kong. I know that because my family's still there and I've seen lots of remittance businesses. That's easy. You're just like the hottest girl that people talk to be your customers. The harder one is actually doing the long tail. And by definition of a startup doing remittance, you are the long tail. That there's no way you can solve the liquidity of the cash flow problem. That's why I say it's the same thing. I mean, I'm making a general framework so that you guys can understand it. Of course, there are lots of details that I don't know about, obviously. The legal, the accounting, the tax. But the general infrastructure technology can really innovate and groundbreaking. It's called on-demand liquidity. I know it's true because I didn't make that up. That's a $5 billion, if not, I don't know what $1 billion company, that Ripple will go IPO just on that idea. That you really have to believe what I said on our roadmap has some leg that we must learn from. And we don't capture the remittance market now because we are lacking some travel ability. We thought we'll go to Vietnam and Indonesia by now. We wish we were in India even earlier. We wish the adoption was even stronger. We wish we have a few more biz staff on the ground. We don't have all that, I'll tell you. If you thought our Our marketing team is small. Our biz dev team is even smaller. That we are not giving it up, but we will make sure that there are connecting dots that will also solve the liquidity infrastructure, that our remittance apps or grantees will use it first. We still have partners in that space, but probably, as you probably can guess, those partners move even slower than our innovation in the DeFi. So I'll probably, Matt is jumping and dancing already, so I probably would just actually not answer any questions so that I have a chance to finish. But Matt?
I just wanted to clarify and kind of summarize. You said a whole lot there, and I think some of it may have been over some people's head. But to really put a point on the fact that those liquidity pools are huge, right? That is what is the underpinning for DeFi. And what that does is by having a solid decentralized liquidity pool that you, I, your brother, and your mother put money into, it kind of creates a whole new world for finance and remittance. That on-demand liquidity isn't going to come from a company. It's not going to come from a government. It's going to come from the community, right? That's why Uniswap is such a big thing. And all of the liquidity providers and all of those who are looking to unpack that problem and figure out how do we make it attractive to users so that they want to put their funds in a liquidity pool, as well as mitigate the dangers of getting in too early or getting out at the wrong time, to where if you put in and your token is worth $5 and then you pull it out and your token is worth $2, there's a whole new category there called impermanent loss, and how you make up for that with a governance token or something else.
Yeah,
so
Matt.
It's huge. Thank you.
Yeah, Matt, I actually think you will be our best person to help unpack this 2 hours call to be, I don't know, a full lecture series of a whole quarter. It is really true. We need more people like Robin. I really appreciate that, Matt. And for sure, by the virtue of you guys being here, hopefully propagate to our community and bringing more people to believe in this bigger vision. But I'm also putting the burden on Peter as well, that we need to write more. And it's impossible. The impossibility is really, really the following. It's literally a paradox. We want to be a global platform, but some of us only think about the problem that we want to solve. That doesn't make sense. A blockchain is so competitive because literally people can fork you a good idea. People can easily from 10 minutes to get started. That whatever we build really doesn't make sense to have a chance of success. The paradox of us disrupting fintech and remittance industry also doesn't make sense. I mean, we have like tens of millions, but like there are the innovation in remittance and fintech and government and banking industry are talking about like $1 billion. That we must know what are even the craziest hypotheses to test and the most likely for a chance of success to go to the next stage. It's very easy to bring up ideas. I'm very happy to jump on Telegram to just like hear all the ideas what Harmony should build. None of them make sense. None whatsoever. Can I say again? None whatsoever. Because I ask myself that question every day. How come I am not the crypto voxel, meaning some of the NFT project-based protocol? How come I couldn't be the next fork that instead of on Yearn, on Ethereum, the next? Many of these paradoxes is what we are very lucky to be a startup to be solving. That there must be still some innovation that, wow, we're very lucky that it is not just about liquidity pool of like some people depositing and losing money and chasing for the new Ponzi people to come in. They are actually value. Let me say again, Uniswap actually provide value at the level of Coinbase, if not the best trading liquidity pair, that we are very lucky to be in that position if we build a cross-chain. And by the time we need to talk about remittance, the same infrastructure, again, I said it, liquidity infrastructure is actually absolutely necessary that our partner Hummingbot has been providing for many crypto projects. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, right? I'm talking about the long tail of $10,000 per month. I know all the market prices of all this infrastructure. I used to be a trader. If you look at my LinkedIn, I wrote trading bots in OCaml. I worked for some of the biggest hedge funds before. So maybe some of the concepts really require a lot more packing. But when I ask myself whether this is a hypothesis that Harmony really have a state of testing, I can unpack a lot more so that you guys understand we're not chasing for the Ponzi. We will come up with some governance, some incentive scheme that Peter promised you is going to be like skyrocketing, but there must be utility at the end of the day. Otherwise, there's no point of building. That's just chasing the trend. So please give me some personal story to end this today. I can go on as an academic, as engineering, as technical, but at the end of the day, if you don't tell me what you expect, what else you expect of the team, in terms of communication, in terms of like scaling the trust, not for the billion people, but for the 30 people here, we are lost. Even for a quarterly earning of a public company, it doesn't need to be as personal as like hard or if not harsh. Let me know what are the like team or personal communication part that you still want to be in this journey. I don't know whether for 3 months or a few years. Whether speaking about yourself or some question that I probably won't answer. I promise only 2 hours. JB. Oh man, I'm taking. I would just say hi to. Hopefully, Jigsaw is still here. I know it's.
Hi, sorry, man.
No worries, no worries. I'm just calling. Whether Max or anything that want to share. Hopefully, share a personal story, personal update, or a joke. Our team always end on a high note. There are far more questions and challenges. And honestly, let me say it here: we may not succeed. If you're betting on something so safe a bet, that's only the US Treasury. So I know some of you are investors for so long, waiting for the next breakout moment. That's really all we got. Really, really hard execution with the strategy that we want to validate with you guys. But if you don't trust that the team is doing the best we can, I can disclose you anything. But if you don't believe that the team are builder and are still technically relevant, there's very little that base layer protocol, nevermind Harmony, can impress you. Because we don't know whether it's going to be like 10 years from now, 5 years from now, a year from now, that layer 1 protocol, whatever cross-chain, whatever liquidity infrastructure they're equipped with, the market is very harsh. And we knew that the winter was coming. But someone please tell me a joke. JB again.
I
C7.
hope the name of this
Okay, I will tell a joke.
Let's JB go first.
It's C7's first.
I hope the name of this governance token is not jelly or something related to food.
Well, let's come up with some Romanian scheme. Even Apple.
There are plenty of them.
Yeah, even Apple sold the word ONE1, so I don't know what we can do. We have some lawyers. Yeah. JB.
Okay. Okay. A young couple is sitting in the cinema watching a movie, and suddenly the boy feels like tapping on his shoulder, and he turns around, and there's an older woman sitting there, and she's asking, "Okay, do you guys like some peanuts?" And he says, "Oh, well, that's nice." So he gets the peanuts. They watch the movie again, and about 10 minutes later, again tapping on the shoulder, old lady says, "Do you want some peanuts?" "Oh, that's very nice." Okay, so they ate the peanuts, and well, they watched the movie again, and about 10 minutes later, again tapping on the shoulder, and the woman says, "Okay, do you still want some peanuts?" And I say, "Well, okay, but lady, why did you why do you give us the peanuts if you don't eat them yourself? And she said, well, you know, I've like fake teeth in my mouth, so the peanuts are getting between my my teeth and my mouth, so I can't eat them. So why do you buy them? Well, I like the chocolate.
Such a Dutch way to end the day. Thank you, JP. I heard German tell better jokes. Max, are you up for it or for the next one? Hey guys, I don't have anything to entertain. You know, Robin already tried the best to keep you guys together. Really, hopefully we can still enjoy the good strategy session, but also the company of each other. In terms of product, in terms of where the market is going, we really need you guys to believe in us. So I don't have anything else. Let's all at least give us a shout, because that's all we really become our tradition. Lee can lead it.
Okay.
Chatapate, we used to call it, yeah.
So we're gonna count down from 4, 3, 2, and then 1, and everybody shout 1. You guys ready? Turn on your camera, unmute. Okay. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, guys. I promise you, no other crypto Porsche do this. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Been 2 hours. My pleasure.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Really enjoyed
Thank you,
this.
Stephen.
Thank you, David, for turning on the
Stephen.
camera. Thank you
Okay.
for everyone.
Bye.
Max, what a pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ludi,
Bye.
thank you again. Manny, keep the community happy. See you, Andy. Josipa. See you,
Steven.
guys. That's all I got.
Tot
Don.
morgen.
Ciao.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Again, Jim.
Thanks to the
as well
team
as
for the
Don.
time.
Yeah, thank you. It's recorded, so hopefully more people will enjoy this. Yeah, thank you, Machi. Yeah, see you guys.
Okay, guys, let's discuss the price now. And you see all team or Harmony team out. Leave conversation.